Hey guys, please tell me there's something wrong. I've done this twice already this morning, trying to fix the phone, and it's sideways, and I don't know why. Is this bad for you, or should I put it this way? And that doesn't. The problem here is that the phone is vertical and it should be horizontal for Facebook. Please tell me if this is correct. I just put it vertical now to avoid the problem of being told I'm sideways. Does this work for you? Nobody's answering. What's better, the way it is now? Wow. So it's good vertical. And the same thing happened with YouTube in the last few weeks when I was doing the German live stream on Friday evenings. And the YouTube wanted to go vertical. So this must be better. Wow, that's strange. I don't know what's going on. Life is evolving. Facebook didn't have a consideration to tell me that that's the way it's going to be, but that's okay. We'll accept this now. It's a different way to see it. This is the way we have it for Instagram. We're very far over, lined up with this palm tree here to get the reflection, because the sun is almost at its most northerly point. We're in the month of longest days in the year. Today is the 6th of June. That means there's 2 weeks more to the summer solstice. That means we're in the 4 weeks of longest daylight hours in the northern hemisphere. And if you're down in Australia or Chile, then you're in the 4 weeks of shortest days in the year. I'm surprised that this is working like this. So this means now Facebook wants to have the phone in a vertical position. That's interesting. It was a little chillier this morning when I went out for the swim. Just the air, the water was the same, basically. So poor old Tobit, we have a real problem for Tobit this morning. He has another bit of misfortune happens to him. We use that word misfortune. He goes blind. You know, we're watching birds every morning and they're beautiful to watch, but they can have some side effects. You need to read the story there. I won't tell you all the story. So the poor guy is blind. Now he can't see everything and he can't see people, even his wife. And that's a problem because, you know, our sight is very important for communication. And it's amazing here we watch people coming in here who are pilgrims. You know, it's not very often, but there are occasionally pilgrims who are blind. And sometimes we have the opportunity, and we spot them, to give them a special attention and to bring them in so they can feel the stones. And obviously there's so much you miss when you can't see, when we're used to seeing. And so Tobit also gets into a bit of a critical attitude with his wife over a goat that she brings into the house, a bonus on her wages, and he misinterprets the goat as maybe having been stolen, and he comes down real hard on his wife. And she complains. She says, "Where are your good deeds now and your charitable deeds? You're so harsh with me." That's often said about us human beings, that we can be wonderful outside in the public arena, but very difficult at home. We can be very strong in certain things, but we could have very significant blind spots. And this guy has a blind spot right now because he can't see. He can't read his face, his eyes, his wife's face. He can't read her honesty, because that you can see many times you can see when a person's telling the truth and when they're not. The eye contact is very important to ascertain the truth. It's amazing coming through passport checks and the way the guys look at your eyes. It's they're really checking you out, you know. It's really amazing, and they're so expert at it, you know. They can probably pick up people that are lying. And then they put them through more checks. Have their luggage checked, do a background check on them. Life can bring a big share of trials and burdens for people. And then all the burden isn't lifted right away. It can be a while, it can be a long time. The medical tests can go on and on. The financial difficulties can last a long time. Life can be a struggle. Relationships can be difficult. To be able to live with situations that are not perfect without complaining, without being harsh. We all have lots to grow, plenty of room. Right now, as I'm going through the book of Tobit, it kind of seems to be an echo of Job. And it wasn't easy for Job and his wife and their relationship when he was in this trial. The stress that's put on marriage when one person is off balance. They often say that marriage is not 50-50. It's 80-20, and then it switches to 70-30, and then it goes to 20-80 and the other way around. Sometimes the burden of the moment of life rests more on one than the other. And that's very physically seen when somebody has an accident and they're in a wheelchair. Now the other party has to do an awful lot more. And if that happened through one's own fault, then it becomes doubly burdensome. If it's an accident, I think we have easier and greater understanding, as we know accidents can happen. We have less understanding and mercy when people's own bad behavior leads to burdens and troubles. Having the phone vertical here for the Facebook now for the first time allows us to see a little bit more of the vertical dimension that walking along here can show you other things. And then somebody has a health issue, an operation, convalescence. And that's kind of also the promise of marriage, right? I will love you and cherish you and hold you dear all the days of my life, in good days and in bad days, and financial crisis and prosperity, in health and in sickness. And health is not just physical, it's also mental, it's also psychological, moral. It's very tough in a marriage when there's depravity, when one person is going the wrong road for a while. And that love that wins back a spouse, that wins back a good friend, a good business partner, the redemptive dimension of our relationships. Many times without words, just with proximity, closeness, goodwill. Forgiveness plays a huge role. These trees are in full bloom. See all the yellow blossoms on the ground. Actually, I hear the humming of the bees. There are a ton of bees up there now, harvesting the nectar. Bee is an incredible work of genius, isn't it? The bee going into the flower, taking out the nectar, making the honey that tastes so well and that's so nourishing. So many works of genius. I don't know if you can hear the humming of the bees, but there's a ton of them. Yeah, I see some of them now. I'm not sure if I can get you into the camera there. Maybe if we go over here. Yes, there's a couple up here. Trees are fascinating. These look like swallows. Try and get the swallows on the camera for you. They're really flying fast. These flowers seem to be withering now. There we have two bees. To be or not to be. amazing. And then we have the brilliant answer today, the clarity of discernment that our life needs when there are major conflicts. Give to Caesar what is Caesar, and to God what is God's. Give to Caesar what is Caesar, and to God what is God's. I was talking to a volunteer and her sister's visiting, and the Caesar in their country is really cutting into the privacy, the personal decisions of people, and taking away their passports because they don't agree with his politics. It's amazing. These are ripe now. They're edible. They're like little apples. And I saw a whole set of these trees in Hukok on Sunday when we were out hiking. Amazing, twice as big as these. I had never seen this tree so big. It was near a source of water, but obviously these trees here are very close to plenty of water. We visited the tomb of Habakkuk. At least that's what's understood, that he's buried there. Not too far from here. Habakkuk is a wonderful prophet of the spiritual life, of prayer, of trust in God. And not too far from there we saw those trees. To know the right way to be. We're citizens. Sometimes the people who are religious don't take the laws of the state seriously. And sometimes those who make laws in the state don't respect the dimension of the human being. It's not under the law. The human being is free in religious identity, religious expression. Obviously, there's a whole reasonableness also involved. We couldn't use the cloak of religious excuse to be unjust, to take life. To discriminate against others. There's a very big topic there, a big challenge for humanity. To give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. And there's obviously a tension because people can become more religious or less religious or anti-religious. And that's always a challenge, how to deal with those dimensions of life and bring them together. Just playing here with the light coming through the branches of this tree. let's leave it like that for today, people. God bless you. See you later, alligators. Here, Mount Arbel in the background, and the Sea of Galilee before our eyes. God bless you today. Within the family relationships, if there are little tensions, in the civil relationships and religious relationships and state and religion, there are many countries that have very difficult situations. God bless you all.